And another thing, I'm a free man. Stop, goddamn, I'm not locked up. I'm straight. I was, but I'm back.
What a last name really worth when the lights come on and the paperwork hits the table? Some people believe a famous family name is a shield. Others discover it's a magnifying glass. For King Harris, those two realities collided the moment the headlines stopped being entertainment and started reading like evidence. The internet passed judgment in seconds, while the courts move at their own pace. Two timelines, one name, and a million eyes waiting for the next clip. This isn't just about a viral moment. It's about what happens when a public persona meets a paper trail. The Falcons' blow-up didn't happen in isolation. It set the tone for how every update will be received afterward. Louder, harsher, and far less forgiving. When arrest details and body cam footage resurfaced months later, the story didn't simply return. It hardened. Fans debated, critics circled, and rumor accounts filled the gaps with whatever spread fastest. So here's the plan. We'll separate what's documented from what's just noise.
Trenches. Am I from the trenches? You gotta think.
What the hell? Why you gotta
Because it's a yes or no question, y'all.
Yeah, it's a yes
My life is difficult.
Okay, talk to me. Tell me how it's difficult.
Alright, so I was raised with my grandma.
Then we'll decide which version holds up. First, the moment that cracked the public image open and never quite closed again. It began as background noise, game day chatter, celebrity smiles, live comments flying across the screen. Then the tone shifted. What seemed like playful banter between father and son turned into a real argument, the kind you can feel in your stomach, even through a phone. King pushed back against the Silver Spoon label, insisting he'd seen more than people realized. T.I. countered with the weight of experience, warning that image without discipline is a trap. Pride met pride. No one blinked. Viewers didn't just watch, they took sides. Some saw a young man trying to stand on his own name. Others saw a father flashing warning signs that were ignored in real time. The clip spread faster than context ever could, chopped into reaction videos, stitched into memes. With every replay, the edges got sharper.
Trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
The words, the posture, the sudden grip that turned a debate into a headline. It wasn't just a family moment anymore. It became a public referendum on legacy, accountability, and what tough love looks like when a million people are watching. The fallout lingered. Strangers felt entitled to diagnose an entire relationship from 30 seconds of tension. Comment sections built a whole narrative. Spoiled kid versus strict dad, TV fame versus real life, attention versus respect. That's the thing about viral moments. They don't end when the live stream does. They echo. They tint everything that follows. So when new developments surfaced later, people didn't approach them with fresh eyes. They carried this clip with them like a lens. And that lens mattered. It made every update seem louder, and every rumor feel closer to the truth than it really was. The Falcons incident turned private friction into a public frame. And once that frame sets, it's hard to step outside it, which is why the next chapter hit the way it did. Because by then, the internet thought it already knew the story.
T.I.'s son, King Harris has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected.
What actually happened when the paperwork showed up? Let's slow the scroll and lay out the timeline. In 2022, King picked up a traffic case, speeding, driving with a suspended license, and a suspected DUI listed in the paperwork. That case didn't just disappear when the headlines did. When you miss a court date, the courts don't shrug. They issue a failure to appear warrant. That's the fuse most people forget about. Fast forward to October 2024 in Dunwoody, Georgia. During a routine stop, officers ran his name. The system flagged the outstanding warrant, and the alert lit up. From there, everything followed procedure. He was booked into Cobb County, processed, and then transferred to Pickens County, since warrants send you back to the court that owns your case. This wasn't special treatment or extra punishment. It's simply how jurisdiction works. Different county, same rules.
I lived with my grandma. She had a great house, but in a bad area.
How much I manipulate the line
If anybody know Terra Boulevard, Flint River,
Okay.
Clayco, that's where I'm from.
Paper beats persona every time. There was also a holstered firearm, noted in coverage of the arrest. Officers removed it, logged it, and continued the procedure. The key detail in those reports: King appeared cooperative throughout. That matters because the internet tends to rewrite tone, but booking rooms record behavior, forms, and timestamps, not hot takes. Then the story boomeranged. In August 2025, body cam footage from that 2024 stop resurfaced and hit the algorithm like it was brand new. That's a modern media loop. Old tape, fresh outrage. Clips get sliced into 10-second bites where context can't fit. What looks like a dramatic discovery is often just last year's file finally going viral. People revisit the Falcons moment, projected it onto the body cam clip, and decided to prove whatever they already believed. 2 points most timelines skip. Moving counties is a paperwork relay, not a plot twist. A failure to appear warrant is mechanical. Miss a date, the warrant triggers. You either show up or get picked up. Fame can delay reactions online, but not in court calendars. So, the confirmed sequence is straightforward. 2022 case. Missed appearance. Warrant issued. October 2024 arrest and transfer. August 2025 body cam resurgence. No secret passages, no hidden chapters. Just process. The noise lives around it, not inside it. And that's where the perception battle begins. One column marked record, the other marked reaction. Since the Falcons clip, King hasn't just been judged, he's been categorized. The internet loves clean labels, so it wrote to rebellious air and performing tough. Every new post slotted neatly into one of those boxes. Nuance didn't trend. Narratives did. His fans point of pressure. Growing up on camera means mistakes don't fade. They get archived. They argue he's trying to prove he's more than a last name, that the blow-ups are growing pains, not a blueprint. Critics counter that the persona feels curated for reaction. Loud talk, quick temper, clips built for stitches. To them, it's performance first, maturity later. Algorithms don't care who's right. They care about friction. A father-son clash plus a polarizing persona equals infinite engagement. In this kind of content economy, the fastest path to views is a strong take, not a careful one. So the discourse hardened. One side calls him misunderstood. The other calls him cosplaying danger. Both double down every time a new snippet surfaces. Then there's a shadow of expectation. Being T.I.'s son means a room walks and already decided. What you've earned, what you've been given, what you owe. If you play humble, you're pretending. If you push back, you're ungrateful. Either way, the comments keep score. And because the timeline remembers the worst 5 seconds, any calm update has to fight through an old meme just to be heard. Then comes the masculinity trap. Online audiences reward bravado, right up until the second it gets real. Viewers cheer for stand on business. But they also relish the fall if the energy isn't backed by quiet discipline. That's the paradox. Virality demands volume. Adulthood demands consistency. You can win the clip and lose the week. Meanwhile, the family dynamic stays under a magnifying glass. Support looks like coddling to some. Tough love looks like spectacle to others. Commentators treat private boundaries like public content, as if parenting has a scoreboard and everyone's a referee. The result is a reputation that swings from one extreme to the other. One day a redemption arc, the next a cautionary tale. Not because the facts change, but because a new edit hit your feed. And when legal updates resurface, people didn't examine them closely. They measured them against a story they'd already decided about who King Harris is supposed to be. That's why this next part matters. When a feed is primed for drama, unverified claims don't need evidence. They just need momentum. And that's exactly what we have to separate now. What people say happened versus what we can actually point to. Here's what the rumors claim. That King faced violent retaliation while in custody. That secret feuds, debts, or messages set the stage, and that things escalated beyond a typical altercation. It's important to note, no major newsroom has confirmed those specific claims as of this recording. Most of what's circulating about ICU stays, target ambushes, or hush-hush guards comes from commentary channels and repost chains. Viral by design, source thin. These belong in the category of internet chatter, not documented fact, until credible verification appears. So why do these stories catch fire? Because they offer a simple answer to a complicated image. A famous kid, a loud persona, and a setting where fame doesn't mean anything. It's a perfect storm. Just remember the difference between noise and news. Meanwhile, the wider family picture adds layers, and this part actually comes with paperwork behind it. Zoom out, and you see why the Harris name carries extra gravity online. Over the years, T.I. and Tiny have faced a steady wave of allegations they've consistently denied. Some surface in civil filings, others in media reports. A few moved forward for a time before stalling, or being dismissed on procedural grounds. That last detail matters. Dismiss is a moral verdict. It's a legal outcome tied to technical rules like deadlines, jurisdiction, and evidentiary standards. In plain terms, a judge can close a case without deciding who's right, and a prosecutor can decline to proceed for reasons that have nothing to do with internet narratives. Because these stories resurface every few months, the public tends to remember the headline and forget the paperwork. A petition gets filed, a press conference goes viral, and months later, a quiet order or declination lands with barely a whisper. The result is a perception gap. To casual viewers, the cloud feels permanent, even when the docket says otherwise. Add celebrity status, and that gap widens. Familiar names attract louder speculation and stickier rumors. For King Harris, that backdrop functions like a filter. Any update, mundane or major, gets read to the family's broader press history. Supporters argue he's carrying a weight he didn't create. Critics claim the brand reaps the benefits of fame and must absorb the fallout of controversy. Both views overlook the messy middle, where legal reality and public storytelling rarely line up. The internet is built to amplify accusation. Courts are built to slow it down. That collision makes every new headline feel like proof of an old belief. Here's the clean way to track it. When family-wide allegations trend, separate three things: claims, what people are saying; responses, what the family or their lawyers formally deny or dispute; outcomes, what a court or prosecutor actually does. If a claim hasn't reached a courtroom, it's an allegation. If it's in court, watch the orders and filings. If a case is resolved, note how: dismissal, withdrawal, settlement, or simple inaction. Each label means something specific, and none of them translate neatly into a meme. All of this shapes how people receive King's story. A resurfaced clip doesn't land on blank paper. It lands on a timeline thick with context, emotion, and arguments that existed long before him. That's why we keep the language tight and the framing precise. What's documented gets dates. What's disputed gets labeled. And anything unverified stays in the speculation bucket. This isn't about cleaning up the narrative. It's about keeping it honest. With that frame in place, we can step back into King's lane and look at the bigger question. What does a last name help with? And what does it never change when real life shows up? Does a famous last name open doors? Of course. But it can't rewrite court dates, hold back a body cam upload, or soften how strangers judge you in 5 seconds flat. In the legal system, calendars matter more than clout. On social media, the loudest clip wins, not the most accurate one. That tension, brand benefits versus real-world limits, is the arena King is walking through, and every step gets scored in public. The catch is how brand tilts the room. Entourages reward what trends, not what lasts. A risky post gets spun as engagement. A quiet month gets framed as you fell off. Money can hire counsel and buy time. It can't buy discipline, patience, or respect. In the end, reputation moves on 2 tracks: performance, the viral moment in pattern, the consistent, repeatable choices. Performance is loud, pattern decides outcomes. Line those up, and the noise starts to lose its grip. So where does that leave this story, and what should you believe? Here's the split that actually matters. Confirmed events: the Falcons altercation, the 2024 arrest and transfer, the 2025 body cam resurfacing, and the 2024 lawsuit dismissal involving his parents. Unverified claims: the fast-moving, dramatic rumors that spread because they're exciting, not because they're documented. One column has timestamps. The other has momentum. Both shape perception, but only one shapes the record. Redemption, if it's coming, won't announce itself in a rumor thread. It shows up in the quiet things: kept appointments, consistent effort, calm weeks that never trend. The camera can't manufacture that. It can only capture it after fact. And if the story tilts the other way, it'll be for the same reason: small decisions stacking until they harden into a headline no one can spin. There's a simple test for everything from here. Can you point to it? If it's a filing, a court order, a dated statement, count it. If it's a cropped screenshot with "trust me" energy, let it sit until proof shows up. That discipline keeps you from mistaking volume for truth, and it leaves room for something rare online: time to change. Legacy isn't a clip, it's a ledger. A famous name might open the door, but the entries after that are earned. Appointments kept, calls returned, temptations resisted, apologies made, boundaries held. None of that is flashy, but all of it is decisive. Do it long enough, and the storyline stops looping. The performance and the pattern finally align. So here's the challenge for anyone watching: separate what you think from what you can prove. Give more weight to filings or the feelings, and leave room for people to grow outside the comments. In the end, a last name can open a door. What happens after you walk through it? That's on you. Tell us what you see, a legacy being built or a hard lesson in progress.